don't even know that it's the way that God
I
made
know,
it.
because when you said that, I was like, man, so
wait
you
a
think
minute,
God
wait a
messed up?
I didn't say that. I said I don't personally like it.
I didn't say that. I asked you, are you saying God messed up? I'm just wondering.
Ladies and gentlemen, dogs and fleas, pull up a chair and sit on your knees, for we have a story to tell you that we are still learning about. Welcome to Talk the Walk. My name is Henry Moses.
My name is Jared Moreland.
My name is Jenny Tucker.
And my name's Gabriel Moses. We're super happy to be here, and thank you all for joining us, wherever you might be.
Wherever you might be. Happy day. In order not to timestamp, happy day to all y'all.
Oh, there you are, man.
It's gonna be happy day. Happy
It's
day.
happy day.
Sunday, Monday, happy day.
I thought you were going to say Happy Hanukkah.
I got a question for y'all.
Nah.
Yeah.
Yet.
Question.
Hit it.
When you load the toilet paper at home,
Outside.
Outside or
It's got
inside?
Outside.
I know where this is
Absolutely.
going.
Outside. Because it rolls perfect. Why would you
pulls
do it on
towards
the
you.
inside?
Yes.
I have a case for the inside because I got my little
Why'd you
my little
start this?
schnauzer.
We haven't even got two words in edgewise. In
My little
Debate.
schnauzer gets on the wall and he'll use his paws and unroll the toilet paper. But if it's going to the other way, it just
I don't
keeps
have
staying
a
on.
schnauzer that does that.
That's a great case.
And if you have a little
schnauzer.
kid and they're trying to hit it, if you have an infant, it won't unroll.
So we're talking
is a
about
great
something other than efficiency. Okay, so
Efficiency
If it's a
wise, it's got to be
logistical
on
issue.
the outside.
Yeah.
For
Well, it's
adults,
the worst when
for
you're trying to
adults
reach under
outside.
under and
kids
trying
and
to
it
find
gets
it. You're
stuck
like, where
behind
is
it and
Yeah.
you can't figure it
Kids
out.
and pets
Right.
inside.
Ugh.
Kids and pets inside.
Adults outside.
outside. So on your adult bathroom that kids and pets aren't allowed into,
Yeah.
outside. Now,
There
what
it
do you
is.
say for efficiency?
I don't think it's inefficient one way or the other.
It is
It
so
is.
inefficient.
It's-
I just would rather leave the roll
horrible.
by itself on the back of the toilet or just sit it on the floor.
Oh, then you have to put it on your finger and spin it. I mean,
Or just set it on the floor.
Yeah, just set it on the floor. Okay.
Putting it
I
on your
promise
finger
I
and
won't
spinning
go
is
any
good.
I won't go any further than this. I'm going to touch the line, but not really. Do you scrunch it to use it or do you fold it?
I'm a scruncher.
Scrunch. But I don't
I'm a
know
scruncher.
this.
y'all all scrunch. Did you say you're a folder, Gabe? You scrunch?
I'm a
And
scruncher.
I'm a folder.
I'm not talking about this.
This is
No.
Okay,
all done.
I'll get off the toilet paper.
well.
When you put your
welcome, y'all.
Okay, when you put your glasses in the
Just so
cabinet.
everybody knows, this was not Henry's idea. This was Jared.
And
Which
we
is
wouldn't
crazy.
believe it.
I mean, that is
You would
odd.
think this was Henry.
Well, there's so many
Yes.
debatable rules, right?
Not
I
this
mean,
Okay.
so when you put glasses in the cabinet, they go
Down.
or up.
No, they go down.
Up,
They go down.
jeez.
Up. I'll tell you why they can't go
I'll
up.
tell you why they can't go down.
I said I would
ladies
say first.
Ladies first.
Because any old thing can crawl up in that glass if you have it up. Dust
And
falls
dust,
into the
yeah.
glass.
And
That's
so I
When you
don't-
have it up.
First of all, I don't think there's much dust in that cabinet.
There's
Secondly,
dust
let's
in
go
there.
ahead and put the rim that we're going to put to our lips on and rub it
I
on.
hope you're keeping it clean.
Are you? I'm going to go check your house and I'm going to prove
I have
that.
never ever. My house is
No.
very clean.
It ain't going to be clean in there, neither
Jenny,
is mine.
Jenny, does your housekeeping services keep the cabinets clean?
I don't know. I clean my house. Nobody cleans
So
my-
I
we
think
always
I won that one.
we put
I feel
ours-
like
No, you
I
didn't
won
win that
Yes,
one.
I
Does
did.
Jeeves keep the cabinets clean, Jenny?
Look, if you have it up, stuff goes into the cup. And do y'all know that the reason most people? Okay, I heard this. I didn't look into it, but I heard this.
96% of people.
Right, 96%. I did hear that, especially in our area, that the reason people began to put their cups down is, and you were raised that way, by the way, Gabriel, to put your cup down
Yeah.
is
I agree.
because of the Dust Bowl. Is why they began to put it down. But it makes sense for
What
everyday
Well,
life.
I always
Did
think
the
if
Dust
you-
Bowl happen?
Long time.
Long time.
Yeah,
Yeah, about 2 days ago.
yeah. It's in Amarillo.
That's frequent.
So
Amarillo.
we
Yeah.
put ours face up, but if it was me, I would put the opening down because even if you have a dishwasher, sometimes there's some moisture and I would rather it run down and
not water
puddle in
and
the
not
bottom.
just puddle in the
because of
bottom.
the calcium in the water that
Yeah.
builds up on it.
But the water dissipates or evaporates off it.
So speaking of glasses, when you go to a restaurant, do you have to have a straw in your glass?
No way, man.
Yes.
Me either.
No, heck no.
I have a reason.
Tell me.
Henry's always made me feel like a big old
Pansy.
sissy pansy man for it. But okay, so I like Dr. Pepper, and you got to have ice in it. Well, if you drink it from the top, the Dr. Pepper's watered down at the top. But if you put the straw there, it's cool and syrupy at the bottom.
So I can give you that. When I've heard people say the reason they want a straw, it's because you know how many mouths have touched the rim of that glass? And I'm like,
It went through
but
the
what?
dishwasher.
I'm like, but what about the fork? It's been in way more mouths.
If you go to a
Hey,
motel
that's a
room,
good
I mean, that fork gets work.
that's a good point.
Full
Gross.
mouth. It's like
You're just slopping on it.
you're slopping on it, and you're worried about the rim of a cup.
Start bringing everybody chopsticks.
Well, we're covering all the basics for life here.
But if you go to a motel room
that.
where you're going to
Yucky.
not get a shower, there's been worse things hitting that thing.
Exactly.
Man, I don't want to talk about any of these things.
That
Okay,
scares
so
me.
back to the dust bowl.
Okay.
If you have carpet, do you have carpet in your house?
Yeah,
Do you dust before?
You know
do
what's funny? Jenny
what?
Jenny used to have to listen and be annoyed with stuff we do.
Now she has to
Now
sit
she
here
has
and
to
be
be
annoyed.
part of it.
do you do you dust before or after you vacuum?
Who does all that? I don't do all that.
I mean, but what do you think?
Okay, so if it were me, if
Yeah.
I were doing it, I would dust first, then sweep or vacuum.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, it's just
It's kind of like, anyway, I can't even say what I was about to say because that's enough of this dirty talk.
No, so the chill talk today is just debatable rules. Like some people have a rule for, do you cut a sandwich diagonally or horizontally?
Yeah.
see, there's a-
Diagonally.
How do you put silverware in the dishwasher? Does it all go up? Does it all go down? I mean,
well, hold on.
Except
But
for
why?
sharp
Why? How come diagonally?
Because
it matter?
it's
It's
more pleasant
funner looking.
and it's easier to bite the corner.
I think it's easier to
It's
hold.
easier to get started. It's easier to hold. It's just more efficient.
I am a diagonal
That's fair.
man also.
Diagonal.
when you go to a
It's more pleasing
cafe,
to the eye.
if you go to a
I think
cafe,
it depends on the sandwich for me. Like if it's a big fluffy, tons of meats and veggies on it and that, I like it just bam right down the middle. But if it's a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, then I like it diagonal.
But you don't have a rule for that. It's just your own personal.
Well,
you
I've
don't
been
have
to-
any
There is no
reasons
rule
why.
to it.
Which
No,
this
there is a rule. It creates a perfect bite.
I cut diagonally because it looks like I'm getting more.
Preference.
Yeah, but then the final
It
bite
looks like you're
And
getting
you can
the final
you can be
bite's this
sure you're
little bitty
even.
crusty.
That's true.
Yes.
If you do it diagonally, the final bite's not fun. If you do it long ways, you got the final
bite.
piece. Yeah, it's that little corner piece.
The fact is you have for sure a final bite on the diagonal.
All right, wait
with
a
the
sec.
square.
I got it. If you do it diagonally, there is only one corner piece. If you do it horizontally, you have to deal with four corners.
That's true. That is
You don't
very
have
true.
to deal with four corners.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah,
I mean, come
No,
on, just
you
let
just
it be.
were saying
I
that
made it right.
last bite was bad if it was diagonal because it was a corner. Now you're saying
Oh right, no.
now
but
you're
it's
saying
like
that you get
it's
more-
a big old angle.
It's that contrary thing that you do.
Is it-
I
You
don't
argue
really care.
for
I'm
it.
just trying to
I
argue
know.
the other side.
It just proves that this family can totally argue any point at all.
No problem.
Any point.
We always talk about having energetic chill talk. I feel like I've mission accomplished today.
That's right. Maybe you just need to be in charge.
I am
of
super
Chill Talk.
frustrated about the square and diagonal.
Is there any rules in your house, like where you and Sean, maybe Sean being her husband,
Thank you.
debate, butt heads over how something's set up, the way something should go?
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
Like-
What is it?
Your keys and little stuff
And little stuff.
don't go just right there on the counter. I'm like, can you just
You know,
Put them where.
put them where they go? That's where they go.
where I find Carrie's keys?
Where?
Anywhere.
Anywhere there.
Oh, that's
But let's get even more fun about it. They could be anywhere. But I sometimes will find them on the floor in the kitchen. And not by accident. She stuck them there. She wants them there on the floor in the kitchen.
what?
Yep.
On the
Oh, yeah.
floor.
Oh, yeah. She wants
Where
them
I
right
put
there so that here in a little while when she's leaving out, just grabs them on the way on the floor in the kitchen.
just drop
It's hilarious to me.
I'm so scared of
What about
losing
on
the
the
keys.
counter?
Like they go in the same spot every time.
In the kitchen.
See,
You don't have
ask
to
me.
bend over.
Don't ask me,
These
man.
aren't his rules.
Is she going to hook it with her toe and fling it into the air?
Bing. Just flip it up.
Way out the door?
Hacky sack it.
Yeah.
Hacky sack it up into the air and
That's
catch it and just
kinda-
boom. I'm telling you.
But your canned goods, they have to be label facing, have to be organized a certain way.
If
Yeah.
it were just me
Yeah.
in the house, I probably would
Same
take
here.
that
Go
time.
look at my cabinet.
Carrie and I are like throwing
Label
it from
facing.
across the kitchen in there.
Like,
Wham,
just
wham,
get in there.
wham. Just
They
get
have
it in
8
quick.
that family of 8. Yeah, you
Yes.
just get it in
I'm
the
like,
cabinet.
I'm
You
not
don't
taking
worry
the
about
time for that. It don't even have to be standing up.
So
Just in the door, in the drawer, in
I'll
the drawer. in the
I'll
cabinet.
put Angel on blast. So Angel will just if she empties the dishwasher, which she probably does most of the time, I'm like, man, if you take the biggest bowl on the bottom, you can like stack stuff efficiently and it fits well.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But sometimes you open her cabinets and it's like, have you never played Tetris before? Like, or like putting stuff in the refrigerator left over, like she'll have this huge bowl on top of this little bitty bowl. And I'm like, why did you just do that? Like, well, it fit. I know, but it's like that stuff is what wears
I am
me
with
out.
you on that. I have reorganized the cabinet so many times. And in our cabinets, there's something, when they made them, they made something, you know, those little brackets that hold the shelves up. They're
Yeah.
not brackets. I don't know what
They're
they're
pegs.
called.
Yeah.
Little pegs. Well, our pegs are all different for some reason. The house came that way and I've never fixed it. And so there's
Shelves are all
there's one corner back there that we have to teeter the bowls over on this side because if they're all over there, it'll fall.
Or what about?
And y'all's is such a nice house. One would not.
I know. I was thinking the exact same thing. Like,
Yeah,
Gee,
man.
your house.
You can take the girl out of the ghetto, but
You can't take the ghetto out of the girl.
Yeah.
Or when I open and I'm looking to go get, there's this huge tea bag box, and you open it and there's one tea bag in it. I'm like, are you kidding me right now? How much space did we
Space is
just
that
take
taken.
up
Yep.
With that whole
For one tea
tea
bag.
bag?
Oh man, if I got mad at stuff like that, I'd be mad. all
Or
the
so much stuff. Like take stuff out of its packaging and it stores better and all that.
I got to go back to the toilet paper real quick.
Okay.
Carrie is an inside girl. She wants that little flap thing hanging on the inside near the wall, and I am the outside. And I'm not kidding. Every time I go to
Y'all are flip flopping.
yeah, we take it off and put it the other
That
way.
happened to be one of the
Over and
rules that
over
you
and
guys
over.
differ on.
We do. I'm like, she does that. She wants it. She's like, why would it be this way? And I'm
would it
like,
be
why
the
would
other
it?
way?
No, I know.
like,
it makes no, but it's
explain it
funny
to
because we actually take it and change it every single time. Both of us will flip it off the other way. Flip it around. Flip it around.
My
flip it
only
around.
thing, my only
It's so
issue with
juvenile.
my only
Oh,
issue,
yeah.
my only issue with toilet paper is I just went to a public restroom the other day, and the whole ADA rules. I get it, but why is the toilet paper dispensers now like below your kneecap, where you have to like lean over to bend down to get toilet paper out? I'm like,
You have to be a gymnast.
Yeah,
even if
it's
you're
so true.
even if you're
Yeah.
handicapped.
Contortionist. Yeah.
I'm like, even if you're handicapped,
You're
you're
still
still,
all
sitting
seated.
on the toilet, and it's like, why
It's
is the toilet
way
paper down there?
And if the thing isn't already loose, I mean the amount of work you have to do to find the flap when you're way down there.
Oh, yeah.
I agree.
And if you're a
it's
sizable-
like one ply.
Yes.
So when you finally do get it and you start to
It
pull, you have to
tears.
pull real slow,
Or it'll tear.
or you're going to get one
Because it's
square.
huge. Those commercial rolls are huge, and it's so
Huge. And
thin.
it's
So
real
you're
thin.
exactly right. You're pulling.
You're
so
scared.
slow. I just
You're
need
scared.
to-
I mean, you're living in fear trying to get that
Exactly.
thing
It's
on.
true.
And
do you-
it's not as wide either. So you got to pull more and more and more and more and more.
Yes.
so much.
And then if it
than you
ribs, you're
would.
like, kid,
I
made
will
this
say
work.
That's when you're a
when I'm
scruncher.
there, that's when I'm a scruncher. You're exactly right. You're exactly right. I become a scruncher at that point.
Do y'all remember when they went to this whole conserve mode and they had the little roller that had the stop on it, so you can only get like a quarter of a turn?
Yeah.
Yep.
I do
And then you have
remember
to.
that.
So I would sit there and unroll some toilet paper and quarter turn. I mean, it's like, man, it's going to take me 30 minutes to get enough toilet paper for one pass.
You're getting forearm cramps trying to get it out of there. You come out with one forearm that's all swollen and jacked.
And let's not even mention if you're in a hurry.
Oh, you're always in a hurry. That doesn't happen unless you're in a
Or
hurry.
somebody's waiting on you out there and they hear you. They're like, come on, man.
Oh God.
Oh man, I am glad.
You know what? I bet those people don't like us very much in those moments.
That's a good point.
What do you think?
Probably not.
But, and that's okay. Like, we're kind of taught that, right? Like, sometimes people are going to like us. Sometimes they're not going to like us.
Yeah, we
not
kind of learn
everybody's
to
going to like
embrace.
it.
I mean, we're told that when like as teen or really maybe middle school. Not everybody's going to like you, honey. You need to embrace that right now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Jenny, you were thinking about that the other day, weren't you? Just what, 2 days ago or something like that?
It dawned on me a few days ago. I thought all of a sudden I had an epiphany. There's just this person I've been struggling with for years. Okay. And my personality is to find the redeeming quality in anybody that I'm in relationship with at all, whether it be family, friend, or business or whatever. And to find the redeeming qualities and find a way to like that person, you know. It dawned on me the other day that I thought, it's been so many years. I don't like this person.
I don't think I like you.
I can't find any. Is it okay that I just don't like someone?
Well, before we dive into that, I have a question for you. Do you think that person doesn't like you as well?
I'm pretty sure she don't like me. That's never mattered a whole lot to me because I don't base what I do on what another person does or how I feel on what someone else feels. I don't do that. However, I've never given myself. Now, love and like are two different things. We are called to love everyone.
Right.
But I did think the problem is the implications of that. I think the reason I've never let myself just say, wait, I don't like this. I just don't like them. Really, I don't like anything about them. I can't find anything about this person that I like. And is that okay or not?
Including Christians? Like, you may even have a Christian that you're like, yeah, that's
like, is it okay or not?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
You think that's okay?
I was saying I know people who I don't like, Christians who I don't like.
And do you allow yourself to just not like that person, or do you still need to search it out?
Oh, yeah. No, I allow myself to not like them.
Okay.
Why do I have to like the way that God made you? I don't have to like it. I'm like, but I respect things about
I
them.
don't even know that it's the way that God made
I know, because when you said that, I was like, man, so do you think God messed up?
I didn't say that. I said I don't personally like
I
it.
didn't say you did. I asked you, are you saying God messed up? I'm just wondering.
We can't even answer that question. It would be silly and insulting to all of us to answer that question. So I'm not even going to, Jared. But I'm just saying, there are some Christians that I go to church with, and I'm like, I don't like you.
Yeah.
I don't like the way you do it, the way you, and then, but I also noticed with them, and I'm thinking about a particular person in mind, and I'm like, but I respect the crud out of you for
That is
what
true.
you do.
Yeah.
But just the way you do it, I don't like it. And I don't connect hardly on maybe a 5% level with you, which most people I connect on a 50, 70, 80% or more. I connect. I feel it.
Right.
But
I
every
can
now and then there's somebody that I'm like, I just don't connect with you. And what's wrong with that?
So, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Jared.
Well, when I saw your thoughts on this topic, Jenny, this is rhetorical, so you don't have to answer it. I began to think, why do we not like someone? And then I saw a little reel of some people I follow. They have a podcast, but they take little clips of their video podcast and make a reel. And it made me think their comment was off offense. If we have an offense, it exposes something in our hearts that really needs to be tended to. They actually said God won't pass up an opportunity to let you be offended because it reveals something in your heart needs to be tended to. And I thought, man, that's pretty cool. And then I thought, is my dislike for someone rooted in an offense?
Right.
And is there something in my heart that needs to be tended to? So that's just, it's rhetorical, but is my dislike rooted in an offense?
Let's not make it rhetorical. In my case, I will say yes.
I will also
offended
say yes.
me. This person did offend me.
So what is the Lord trying to teach me in that?
Person have gone to blows in the past, like figurative blows in the past, verbal sparring in the past. But I do respect this person. I don't think they should be in the position they're in because of the attitude problems. But
Well, I think that we're not scripturally, we're not called to like one single person. I mean, we are called to love, but there's
Right.
nothing that says like and love are two different, completely different things. But it can be a hard issue. I mean, I think it comes down like how we handle ourselves and how we conduct ourselves towards that person should have nothing to do with whether or not we like the person. Whether or not we particularly like a person. I mean, do I like the way you handle your business? Do I appreciate the way you handle your business towards me? No. Do I appreciate the faces you make? Do I appreciate the tones in your voice? And, do we mesh on that? That's really what comes down to with like. Would y'all agree?
Yeah.
And the way you act towards me has a lot to do with whether or not I like you. Or other people that I see you act towards, and just how you act.
I mean, yeah, absolutely.
It doesn't mean you love it. It doesn't have to change. Like, this is something that I really try to work really hard on. I have some people that I pretty much can't stand, but I love them. My heart does have a love for them because they're God's creation.
So can you example how, because here's my concern with the thought. It's just a baby thought in my head right now. I have not fully given into the rightness of it or the wrongness of it.
You're just working through it.
It just dawned on me the other day because I've been trying for so long to like this person, and no matter what, and what happens is this person does something make me mad again. And so I end up there again. And so I finally decided, I wonder if it's okay for me to just not really like this. I feel like I start to like the person, and then I get my heart broken because they do it again.
I feel like, Jenny, because I'm like, okay, like this is such an interesting thing, but I go, if we take the Lord into consideration and what he wants for our life, which we often don't do, right?
Right.
Well, did we all agree that we often don't take God into consideration on what he wants for our life? More often than not, as you move through the day, are you taking God into consideration for how we make each move? For me personally, I'll just say it that I don't generally take God into consideration with each and every move I make. And I'm like, okay, but we're always trying to go, okay, let all that I do honor God, to the glory of God. But I'm like, okay, to not like somebody, there does feel something wrong with it.
It feels wrong. I know.
It feels wrong.
Well, I think go ahead.
And it's like, why do I gotta like that you smack?
That's a
very shallow example.
Right.
I'm just saying.
I think there's a warning. It's Old Testament in Leviticus that I ran across when I was thinking about this and researching scripture. And I think this is the warning, because if I don't like someone, I'm trying to think, there's people that I don't like as well. But the challenge is, man, if the Lord wants to set up an opportunity to redeem that person, lead them to Jesus.
Right.
I don't want to miss that opportunity. And I think that's right. Leviticus 19:18 says, do not seek revenge or bear a grudge against anyone among your people, but love your neighbors as yourself. So can I dislike someone without having a grudge? Because it clearly says, don't seek revenge or bear a grudge. So I think that's the warning in a sense.
Absolutely. I think because, again, there's a difference between like and love. Romans 12, Jared, goes kind of with what you're saying. Romans 12:14. Bless those who persecute you. Bless, do not curse them. Rejoice with those who rejoice. Weep with those who weep. Live in harmony with one another. Do not be haughty, but associate with the lowly. Never be wise in your own sight. Repay no one evil for evil, but give thought to do what is honorable in the sight of all. If possible, so far as it depends on you, live peaceably with all. So it's kind of suggesting there's people that's going to rub you the wrong way,
Yeah.
And naturally, you're not going to like that. You're not going to appreciate that.
So do you think so maybe, I wonder, in thinking this through a little bit more, okay, obviously, like almost back to the rule of hate the love the sin or hate the sin.
Yeah.
It's so, you know what I mean? Like, okay, I hate that action. I hate what they did, but I still have to like, it's so exhausting just to like everybody and to constantly.
It's saying love, though.
No, I know the love and I'm down with the
not
love.
saying
I am.
like it.
And I've always, my whole personality is to look for and try to like everybody. This
but
is
look
the
at-
first time I've ever thought, is it possible that just like everybody's not going to like me?
What does it
like
mean
my
to like
homecoming?
somebody?
Okay, there we go.
What does it mean to like somebody?
In
You
my
know what I mean?
mind, you know, in my mind, it's that you like things about
you
their
enjoy.
personality.
You like
and-
that you
things how they
enjoy.
handle themselves.
What they do.
So it's not saying how you care about them as a human being. It's saying you like the way they conduct themselves.
Yeah, and I will
That's
say
not- you
I
don't-
care about.
You
the
don't have to
person a
like
lot.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can love them, but you don't have to. You don't have to. I mean, there's times we don't like each other, right?
Times.
Yeah.
But I'm not talking about times.
Right, but I'm just saying, if there's
y'all
times-
all the time. I like
Lie.
y'all all the
Lie.
time.
La la la
Every
la
day,
la.
all day.
What about when you were going to tattle on Jenny Deshawn? You did not like Jenny in that.
I've
moment.
grown up since then.
Do we use the word like correctly?
word
Exactly.
what?
Yeah.
Do we use the word
Let's
like
get to the
correctly?
bottom of the
Okay,
root.
let's-
So
this is
I-
all
The root of
relative.
it.
So I'm just pulling up the
Definition.
definition. So first is a preposition. And if you think about the word like, let's just think about the word. It's having same characteristics or qualities as, similar to, they were like brothers. Like, if I don't like someone, is it because they're not like me?
That's similar or likeness.
Yeah, that's not the
like.
same.
Okay, but I can't find in the whole definition from preposition,
Yeah,
conjunction, noun,
so
adjective,
like,
adverb.
So like comes from the word
Like's
like,
never
what
been
you're saying.
used as a feeling towards someone.
What do you mean like's never been used?
But we use it-
I'm looking at the
That
definition
is,
of the word
that is
like.
interesting because like is one letter off of alike. So when you say I like you, are you saying we're alike?
I don't know.
Wait,
That's
wait,
what
wait,
I'm
wait,
saying.
Wait. Are you saying that the dictionary doesn't define the word like
like.
as like to enjoy
Correct.
aspects of something? What? I mean, look,
His mind is blown over there.
That's I didn't know that. I just looked it up. I'm like, well, and then I'm like, oh my word, are we?
as though, as if, like totally.
Get your mouth. You got to get your
know,
mouth
I
closed.
Today's millennials, they use the word like all the time. Like when we went to the store, we were and I was like,
Yeah. And
I can't stand that.
Today,
It's like so
Jenny
annoying.
does it too. It's annoying even to her.
so I just find it interesting that as I'm pulling up this definition, I'm like, man,
Okay, I found one in the Cambridge English Dictionary.
Okay,
To enjoy
to enjoy. That's what I said.
or approve of something or someone.
Right. So okay. So that's the definition that we're looking for, right?
To enjoy
or to approve. You don't have to
of
approve.
someone
In
or
fact,
something.
how are we going to lead people to Christ if we enjoy
Approve.
and approve of what they're doing? Oh, I enjoy and approve of your
Say that
living in
again.
sin.
Say that again, brother.
How are we going to lead them to Christ and show them that they're wrong?
So it's okay to not like people.
Yes,
I think so.
I think that was
Okay, podcast over.
the keynote.
Yeah.
could be.
That's it.
Yeah.
I just feel like you should say it even one more time. How do
Oh, no, yeah. How are we going to lead someone to Christ if we like, which is what? Explain that definition again. Enjoy
To
or
enjoy or approve of
enjoy or
something.
approve the sin that they're living in. Well, we're gonna, continue on, soldier.
That's it.
So back to my original statement when we were talking earlier, it made Jenny cringe, and I'm going to go ahead and say it. There was a season in my life I didn't like my son. Didn't like to be in the same room with him. Didn't like to be around him. And what I just realized is I was okay for that because I just didn't approve of the way he was acting. I didn't approve of that. I didn't,
Did you love him any less?
not at all.
Would you have given your life for him in
100%.
that moment in the moment that you liked him the least?
Mm-hmm.
Would you have had any difference of level of death that you would have
No doubt.
experienced for him?
I mean, I could have been, it's almost like when you, there I go using the word like. Oh my word.
Oh, it's bad.
Now
But
I'm
today
noticing
it's
it.
okay.
It's okay. But there's times when you can complain about your child, but the minute someone else does, you're like, hey,
Yeah.
that's enough.
Careful.
Careful, bro.
Yeah.
So that's kind of,
Dad described it as scissors. Do y'all remember that?
Yeah.
He said y'all are
yeah.
like a pair of scissors. always clamping against each other, scissor blades. But if somebody gets in between you,
They
Nice.
get
They're
cut.
going to
Right
get cut
up.
up.
they'll
Yeah.
passed right up.
Yeah.
Well, in Matthew 23, when Jesus called the Pharisees hypocrites and snakes, I would almost assume, well, now that we know the true definition, he didn't like them at that moment, but he loved them enough that he died for them. So,
Yeah,
The
which
person
again
you don't
means he
like.
didn't approve of them,
right.
and we know that he's constantly calling out. Yeah,
Luke 6:32-35, as we were talking about like and love, and it says, if you love those who love you, what benefit is that to you? For even sinners love those who love them. And if you do good to those who do good to you, what benefit? Even sinners do the same. And I was thinking, before we knew the true definition of like, could you imagine? Because, when Jesus came, he raised the bar. He's like, I didn't come to abolish the law, but to fulfill the law. And as a matter of fact, hey, you can only have one wife. And he raised it. And I'm like, what if you like those who like you, what benefit is that to you? For even sinners like those who like them. And I was just thinking, what if you replaced that as just a challenge to yourself? But I'm like you. It's like, man, now that we know the definition, it's been a great podcast.
you know what's interesting?
No, and I'm also curious about this. I'm like, who's wrong? You or the person who you don't like? Like, are they doing they're doing something that you don't like? Maybe they're shining too.
Well, that's
much.
what I said. It's
Like,
rooted in an offense, probably.
So, but maybe they're not even doing anything wrong, and the problem is you. Or maybe they are. Maybe they are doing something wrong, but you have to question at some point, is there something wrong in me? And I think we touched on this earlier a little bit, slightly. But it is important to go, if I don't like somebody, why is it? Is it something of them or is it something of me? Because if say somebody is, as a Christian, as Christians, we see one Christian being very loving to people. Maybe they're hugging people freely. They're free of that thing that stops them from connecting affectionately and physically, And then maybe somebody who's more of a withdrawn person would look at it and be like annoyed by it. Obviously, that's something wrong with you.
Oh,
That's not something wrong with them.
I have a friend who constantly doesn't like things about certain people.
Other Christians or something, or people in general.
Absolutely. I mean, it's that way a lot. And then we kind of talk about it, and it's, there's a difference between liking someone and loving someone. But for this person, I feel like it's her own perspective. You know what I mean? And I think that's why you have to be careful. In my mind, this is why I've never gone there until now. This is the first time I've ever gone there. Is because if you just make a decision to not like someone, and I also think that, okay, sorry, my brain's going into 14 different directions. Okay, if you make a decision not to like someone, the implications are what scare me on that. Because if I then say I don't like that person, right, and if it came from an offense,
a hard issue at that point. You affect
what
the
trail
love
are
side
you
of
gonna
things.
go down if you make a decision? Look, I just don't like that person. Do you stop trying? And do you stop, So I know
Because
that.
do you stop loving? That's what you're saying. Do you?
Is it going to lead
if
to
you
something else?
embrace
Not liking
the idea that I'm not going to like this person, I don't like you. I think, just recently, I was dealing with someone who I don't like. I mean, there's just not a whole lot about them. And then, now I could say I like them now, because we ended up having a deeper conversation. But this person I didn't like, and I thought, you know what, something cool had happened to him, and I thought, I'm gonna go, even though I don't like this person, I do want to still love on this person, because it's what should be done, and I want to congratulate him on this thing that had happened to him and all this, and this award that had been granted anyway. So I went up to him and started talking with him a little bit, and was like, hey, I just think it's so awesome what you're doing, this and that. And I could tell at first this person was kind of hesitant towards me, probably didn't like me a whole lot either. And was kind of one word answers a couple times. And then after she saw that I was being genuine, loosened right up. And next thing you know, we're talking 100 miles an hour going back and forth. And she just starts opening up to me about these things that she's been dealing with and insecurities that she's had to deal with and just all these different things. And I thought, I'm so glad I didn't act on my personal feelings and my personal dislike of her. I mean, just really didn't like being around her. And the more we talked, the more I could see some things that God was doing in her life. Can she just open up on some things? And now I do. But the light can come and go. Light.
Yes.
Light can come.
I think
and
you're
go.
hitting it right there.
But the love, that never should be an option.
There you go. I will tell you that person that when I had that thing 2 days ago, I got an email from that person today because we have to interact a lot. Mm-hmm. I like her today.
Okay, so is it an important thing to say this is a fickle idea?
I think so. Like since we've talked about it before, and I still have been
It's a real idea.
trying
It's
to
a
do it
real
because
thing.
there are a couple of other people in town that I realized I actually had given myself license not to like without even realizing I had done it. Y'all know who I was talking about if I said it, and I can think of a way that my behavior reflected that recently. So
that's
I think
the risk.
I think the implications are what scare me on that. We are called to love. And I think that, in Hollywood, we watch and see that love is this emotion. And are you in love with him? Or y'all, that's just a bunch of malarkey. The whole in love thing, love is an action. It is not a feeling.
It's a decision.
Yes.
Yeah.
But like is a little bit more of a feeling.
Yeah.
That's the part that's fickle that everybody thinks they need to get a divorce over. Well, I'm not in like with that person. Really, we could exchange that to in like or,
Goodness, there's such a plus. If you look up love, there's like 5 different loves in the Bible, right?
Well,
with the main one being agape love.
There's 4 I know.
Is it 4? Sorry. He's for the pastor.
3.
No, it's 4. It's
3.
not 3.
It's 3: Eros, Phileo, and Agape.
Phileo, the brotherly
I'm
love.
telling you, there's
Eros, Phileo, and Agape.
Yeah.
I'm annoyed right now. I don't like any of y'all right now.
Do you want me to define them for you?
I know you could. No, because that'll just make you look smart.
I use that in every wedding I officiate. Is the 3 versions of love.
Eros,
Hey,
Felipe,
do
and
y'all
agape.
think Siri knows the definition to each one of them?
I don't know.
Or the new AI with
Hey,
Facebook.
Siri, what's the definition of agape love?
She's like,
No.
I'm atheist.
She just popped up. Oh, wait a minute. Greco-Christian term referring to a type of love. Agape is the highest form of love, charity, and the love of God for God. I don't know what that means.
Siri's an idiot.
Yeah.
I wanted her to
what
say
is
she
it,
pulled
Siri?
it from Wikipedia.
I've never really.
So Eros is romantic, erotic. That's where the word erotic comes from.
Hey.
Phileo,
We're
Phileo,
humans here. Come on. Keep going.
Phileo is a brotherly love. That's I love you, brother. Love you too.
Yeah.
And then agape is God's love for us. That's like the purest form of love.
Okay. And sadly, at this point, I forgot where I was going with all of that. Sorry. I'm like, I don't know.
We just literally rabbit trailed.
Well,
No, we did not literally rabbit
I
trail.
think holding the grudge, not holding a grudge, the example you gave of being able to love someone through it. I remember when Angel and I, at 5 years of marriage, we couldn't stand each other. We had God's really the only one that can agape love, but we were clinging on to the committed type of love to one another. We weren't in love. There was no eros love. There was no phileo love. We didn't like each other. I didn't want to come home after I got off work. She didn't want me to come home when I got off work. We fought over everything. And I remember a time that it just broke me. And it's even in Luke 6:27, when it talks about if someone strikes you on the cheek, turn the other cheek and offer the other one. Mm-hmm. I was just being a terrible person to her, and she leaves, and I'm like, thank God she left the room. And then she comes back with cookies and milk and just sets it on my table and leaves, and it broke me. because she loved me inside of being just a miserable person.
Like you.
She didn't like me, but she displayed something, and it made me feel so little. But yeah, I just think we got to be careful when we don't like someone, because sometimes, man, you can love them through it. Angel has this person she works with that it's been really unhealthy relationship. And the Lord's always telling Angel, hey, stop and get this person, because she knows she loves a certain drink from Roasters. And she'll just stop and get it and put it on her desk and says, to so-and-so from Angel.
Her name is Angel. So.
I know, but Angel does not like this person. Angel does not like this person. But it's those acts of love that softens that person's spirit.
It is.
And that's the last thing you want to do, is love someone through their... I mean, I think when you don't like someone, it's because back to your question, your statement, you said, is it because they're doing something wrong and I'm right? Well, I think obviously if you don't like them, you do think you're right.
Yeah.
There's no way you think they're right or you would approve of them.
But we have to always be able to acknowledge we could be wrong. And that's the other side of it, is a person who's not willing to acknowledge they could be wrong. Doggone, man, it limits them in so many ways. We should be able to acknowledge you could be wrong. You're not perfect, and you could be putting something off on someone else that is your problem. And more important than that, that's the best way to approach it, because you can't do anything about them for the most part. You could confront and all that, but you do have to live with yourself every day, all day, and it could be your problem.
Well, what if we took it a step further? Because as Christians, I think we have to stay on the high road.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're called to it every time.
But man, and I don't know, I would ask Jenny this. Sometimes you just are tired of being on the high road.
Yes, right.
You just want to get off the road and put it in 4-wheel drive and mow somebody over.
And I've done that with this person. And she's done that with me. I mean, we've definitely, I think that because those, and she is not a Christian at all.
That's even more important that we stay on the high road.
It is, absolutely. I'm not even. I'm not
casting stones. I am not casting stones at you.
My actions have definitely been less than godly with this person. We always find a way back. We have to. We work together. We always find a way back, and have to get back to a point of respect. And then sometimes even, like I would honestly do anything for this person. I really would. I care about this person. Yeah. But I do think that when you do give yourself license, I think I may be settling on an answer to this question. If you give yourself license not to like a person, there are implications that you should not have there. The implications of that, I think, go to a level that can lead to ungodliness.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's dangerous.
Let me ask y'all this.
You're saying it's dangerous.
I'm saying it's dangerous. I'm saying it's
Do y'all think God has always liked us?
Ooh. No, because now that I know approved, I would say
at one point he wiped everybody off the face of the earth.
Right. I think
he was thinking, I sure like these people.
Yeah, he didn't approve.
Wipe them off.
He does not approve of us.
So listen to this, 2 Corinthians 5. Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. Well, why do we have to be made a new creation? Because we stink. Because God's wrath to us without the coverage of the blood of Christ. Mm-hmm. We're in trouble even in our best state. The old has passed away. Behold, the new has come. All this is from God, who through Christ reconciled us to himself. So we had to be reconciled. And gave us the ministry of reconciliation. That is, in Christ, God was reconciling the world to himself, not counting their trespasses against them, and entrusting to us the message of reconciliation. Therefore, verse 20, we are ambassadors of Christ, God making his appeal through us. We implore you on behalf of Christ, be reconciled to God.
So are you saying that
we have to
not like people now?
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's just so important. I think we're called to we've talked about it before. I kind of call it taking the stripes. Yeah, I mean, we don't have to like the people that we're taking the lashing from. I don't think Jesus was liking all the people that were doing, taking it on his way to the cross. He wasn't like, God, these are some likable people. You know?
Yeah,
I mean, that's
true.
not
That's
what
very
he was
true.
thinking.
That is very true.
But he was.
We should be going to the Word of God for
Yeah, the reason I'm carrying this cross is because I like all these people. I approve of everything they're doing.
Man, I've never seen anybody handle a cat of nine tails like that. 'Cause this guy's amazing. You know, that was not. I guarantee you that wasn't.
I think it's.
But he was brokenhearted though, and praying, asking the Father to forgive them, and saying they don't know what they're doing.
Man, if and just since we're going to pounce on Jenny today, that's not what we're doing. But
we're pouncing on all ourselves because it
if
is.
we could,
But I tell you what, I'm a walking conviction on this.
Yeah, could you imagine like trying to see that person through Christ's eyes, like allowing your heart to break for that person because they don't know Jesus, and they might be acting the way they do because they don't know Jesus.
Oh yeah.
If I go back one verse, I think it's ironic that Hank's camping in the New Testament and I'm camping in the Old Testament today. Like he's usually the Old Testament guy and I'm the New Testament guy.
True.
So
we're tag teaming it.
So back to Leviticus, one verse before, you shall not hate your brother in your heart, which we know that, but you shall reason frankly with your neighbor, lest you incur sin because of him. Incur sin because of him.
What does that mean? Lest you incur sin?
If you shall reason frankly, I think that's a frank conversation with your neighbor, lest you incur sin. You are sinning. You've allowed them to cause you to sin.
Through anger, through vengeance.
And then it goes on to say, you shall not take vengeance or bear a grudge against the sons of your own people, but you shall love your neighbors yourself. I am the Lord. I love how it starts. I am the Lord.
He signed off on
I'm the boss. Do it.
And I learned
I am the Lord.
When I learned, because
I know you don't want to do it. I'm telling you to do it.
So I don't know. Y'all probably do know this, but when Lord is all caps in the Bible, it's Yahweh, the breath of God. So when you see it all caps, I am the Lord, capital L, capital O, that's like, hey, that's like for real God, like I am the Lord. Like that's the end of the line.
He's like,
when it's all caps.
When it's all caps, because you'll see the Lord's name mentioned LORD, but it will just be capital L and lowercase. But when it's all caps, that's derived from Yahweh, which is the breath of God.
We ain't pastors, dude. Why would we know that?
I learned that through the Bible recap. I hope I'm not. I hope I'm not saying that wrong. And if I am,
you're not too. It's going to be embarrassing.
Because Miles will correct me on that.
Oh yeah, he's listening.
He's the doctor.
I like it.
I like it too.
I like it a lot.
So I'm hoping you're pulling for you to be right.
Me too, bro. I think what we are going to be right about is we're trying to work through not being so harsh and holding a grudge and being frustrated.
It's and not being so harsh on ourselves. And accepting the fact that it's okay for us not to like. Like it's just a totally different thing. But I think Jenny, you said it earlier, not embracing, not just embracing it to the point that it affects how we interact.
Cause bitterness in your heart.
I think that
I was about
when
to say infects. That it doesn't infect, not affects us.
Or cause flippancy, because for me,
with cause and infect.
I think the flippant
You can write them off.
That was the relief I was feeling whenever I made a thought that I could just not like her and go with this feeling, basically. What I felt was the relief of the situation, like a write-off. I did feel that.
Now I don't
relief.
have to care.
Yes. Now, and I'll always care. I wasn't thinking of it that way, but there was something in my heart that I was feeling this release of that maybe I didn't have to place such emphasis on this thing. I don't have to strive with this person. I don't have to find these likable qualities. I don't have to keep searching for it. And so, but then until today, I thought of a person that I had made that I didn't even realize I'd done it. And I can think of a way that I have absolutely written this person off. And my behavior, it wasn't ugly. I'm not ugly to anybody. It's not in my nature. But it was flippant with this person that I have done this with years ago. You know her, actually. And
Tell me later.
I will. I'll tell you later.
Tell us all later. I'm trying to put it.
And I have regretted that day in this situation so many times. And
These are two different people that you
different
don't
people.
like. Oh, okay.
Yeah, there is a whole other person that I realized I actually did this already. I didn't realize I did it, but I just went ahead and did it, and totally wrote the person off and flippant about them. And we were in a situation, in a room, in a social setting, which is my least favorite setting. I'm uncomfortable anyway. And I'll get insecure in these settings because I'm not a social person. But I was in this setting, and we were talking to so many people in this room, and the person did wait and smile at me and wait to say something. And I looked past them and didn't acknowledge them at all.
I don't want to hear this story.
They earned it. They earned it. Don't feel too sorry for the person. They earned it. I promise.
But you know,
Promise.
I will say,
You know what it is?
I know.
I will say the breaking point for me, and I don't know if this is where you're at, because I want to come back and ask you to restate your statement about this person, because this all started with, you're like, hey, I've got a podcast topic, and we're like, yes, that's awesome. But I want to say the breaking point when I didn't like David, like I didn't like that I didn't like my son. Yes. I remember standing in the shower. I was standing in the shower. I was losing sleep over it. And I said, God, just like this, I said, God, you have got to deal with this. I can't take it no more. And I was said it audibly out loud. Angel was like, who are you talking to in the bathroom? I said, God. I said, you have got to take this off of me. I can't deal with it no more. You created him. You deal with him. That's the way I said it.
Yeah.
And I felt this amazing sense of relief. And I could sense in my spirit the Lord saying, I've been waiting for you to give it to me, and I'll take care of it. And that changed everything. Now, I don't know if you did that with that person yesterday because you said you wrote them off, but you could have been like, hey, I'm not going to allow this to affect me no more.
Yeah,
and you
I
could
think
actually
that's a
go
big part
back
of
and
it.
say, God, you just deal with this person. I can't deal with it no more. And you know what? All these things that drove me crazy about my son, I still don't approve of things he does, but we get along really well today. And it's because I had an encounter with the Lord that set me free.
You did.
Yeah.
My son didn't
I've
change
noticed-
at all.
No, he has changed. No, he has done some changing, but I wonder if it doesn't have something to do with your approach towards him.
Oh,
Because
100%.
I've done, I don't see him real well.
Because I was flippant with him.
And he has, he's done some growing over the last year and a half
Yeah.
that was not there. And he kind of went through a phase. Same thing, man. I mean, he was not the most likable person in the world. Now, deep inside, he always had that sweet spirit that he always had. Now,
Yes,
the love is not a problem there.
We're making Jenny really uncomfortable having this
I love
conversation.
that kid so much. I love.
But he
I know
knows it,
everybody
too.
here does.
But he knows we do, and he knows we're on his side no matter whether we like what he's doing or not. Doesn't have anything to do with it. But, man, I've seen some major growth in him. And I don't wonder if that's not because his dad's approach towards him.
I got out of God's way.
Yeah.
So my question back to you, Jenny, is we've unpacked all of this and talked about it. Do you have a different thought or a different approach to what you originally said?
Well, first of all, I think that is the difference. What you did and what I did. And so I think we figured out, okay, it's okay not to like people. God didn't like people. And we are his creation made in his image. So there's just going to be people we don't like. But it bothered you that you didn't like your son. And, it was your son. That's going to bother a person, who's a dedicated parent. Should bother every parent. It doesn't always. But anyway.
That's a whole other topic.
That's a whole other topic. But it's going to bother a parent, a devoted,
On the next
loving,
podcast
right?
episode.
But I think that's it. It does need to bother you a little bit. I think it needs to. It needs to be something that you're working towards, because it didn't bother me. It was a write-off. It was flippant.
Are you done with that?
Yep. Go ahead.
It's making me think of something our dad told me, this story about liking people and your attitude toward people. And he was telling me, trying to teach me the idea of seeing the best in people, which we know we've already discussed that gets old sometimes with sorry stinking people. But that's what we're supposed to.
True.
It's what he was trying to teach me as a teenager, and he told me the story of Will Rogers, the cowboy, and he said he was like known as one of the most positive people ever.
Yeah.
Will Rogers, and yeah, like Jared maybe. Is that what you're saying?
No, she's calling me out for a faux pas.
Oh, okay.
I swallowed.
I see. Okay, yeah, I heard it.
She pointed at me. I took a drink. She went
In the back of my mind, I remember you doing that now.
But yes,
been
you are
called out.
also very positive.
You are very positive. And so he said, he told a story how some bad guy, some evil person back in those days was hung. They killed him because he murdered people and stole and robbed and did all this bad stuff. And some guy was, right after he was hung, and it was later that day, the guy was talking to Will Rogers and about what a bad guy that guy was. And Dad said that Will Rogers' response was, yeah, he did some bad stuff, but he had the most pretty blue eyes I've ever seen in my life. And he just saw that, he was not going to focus on the evil and the bad, the horrific. He's like, he had the prettiest blue eyes I've ever seen, though.
I love that.
He redirected you.
He totally redirected. And I just, that stuck with me, obviously, all my life. And I'm like, if people, man, they just, don't you feel that? But then you go, but doggone, man, that's a person with real issues in their life, real challenges. There's nobody on this planet that doesn't have real challenges that they face.
Well, Jared and I have kind of a mutual friend. It's a lot closer friend of Jared's, but and him and I kind of had a falling out. He and I kind of had a falling out, and I was hot and he was hot towards me, and
I knew that they were both
Jared
hot,
knew both. Yeah,
were hot towards each other, and I'm good friends with both of them. But what's crazy is the other guy speaks very highly. Now, he didn't speak highly of the situation, but he still refers people to, hey, you need a mortgage?
business or
Yeah.
And in my heart, I just love this guy, but I also really couldn't stand him.
You wanted to punch him in the face?
I was so mad. I mean, just mad over this situation for years. And, but then I found out, that he was dealing with stuff and going through some personal stuff. And Jared was,
really?
Jared's a secret keeper in that. So, but he just shared that he was really dealing with some personal stuff and during that time. And I just thought, man, if I'd have known that then, it might have changed the way I felt and acted towards him in my heart. Like, we really don't.
If you could walk a mile in their shoes.
We know, but we really don't.
Yeah.
Right.
People don't just leave it all out there for you to see what they're dealing with.
Nope.
And so some of the things that, we just never know what, I remember Brandy would always say, we'd be driving around and she'd never get mad if somebody cut her off or whatever. And I can't stand that. That drives me nuts. And he's like, how do you do it? How does that? You just, no big deal. You just slam on your brakes and don't say anything. And she's like, I don't know what's going on with them.
Yes.
She was, she said, they could be rushing because they just found out a loved one died or someone was in a bad car accident. Yeah. She's like, I don't know. Or someone's sick, they're sick. Like, she was just like, I don't know. Or they had a bad day. I don't know. So it just doesn't bother me. Just those kinds of we never know. But a lot of times we'll find out something later on about the person and think, I didn't know that.
Dang.
And
Exactly.
it doesn't matter ultimately. We should just not, like Jenny, like you said at the beginning, we're not going to like everybody. Everybody's not going to like us. That's human nature. What did you say it was to approve of, or what was the other word?
To enjoy or approve.
Enjoy or approve of a person. Yeah, but I love taking the unhealth part about how I was feeling the other day out of that and like basically now, even to kind of summing it up, but they have the most beautiful blue eyes. I just love that story and finding the thing, because there are redeeming quality. There really are, like even in this person, I could tell you several right now. I don't want to say them because it would give away who it is, but it's there really are. I could put my finger on a bunch of them, a bunch of good qualities that the person has. Which again, in my mind, is now just kind of the icon of the whole thing is going to be, but you have the most beautiful blue eyes,
Well, thank you for bringing this up because it grew us. I mean, if you ever wonder how we come up with podcast topics, it's just we unpack stuff we're dealing with.
Yeah.
Well, we're talking the walk.
Yeah. We're just talking the walk.
Talking
it's
the
like,
walk.
hey,
What happened for
I'll
them?
tell you on a personal level right now, I have a lot to think about.
Oh yeah, this is one I'm going to be thinking about all.
Yeah.
And to just to help me to be one step closer to the way Jesus walks than I walk. I'm like, man, I got a lot.
and I think
here
for the
to think
fourth week
about.
in a row, we're going to say this was the best one ever.
The best one ever.
We're gonna Joe Rogan it. This is the biggest fight of the century.
Yeah.
Biggest.
Every
Okay,
single
Joe.
time.
Okay, but this was a good one.
Well, let's wrap it up with prayer then. What do y'all say?
Let's do it.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. Father, thank you for your goodness and grace, and thank you for continuing to teach us and show us your light. Thank you for helping us to unpack this and help us to love those that we don't like. We love you so much. We appreciate that you never give up on us. In Jesus' name, amen.
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 Go ye into all the world.
And preach the gospel.
Amen.
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 Well, we're covering all the basics for life.
Exactly.
Man, I don't want to talk about any of these things.